Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9, there's a new top crop, which is good news for North Dakota farmers. Plus, another round of musical chairs for the Trump cabinet. We'll show you who's out. But first, 9 days into spring and another round of snow is headed our way.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Right away, let's throw it over to meteorologist Henry Blakes with some breaking weather news.
Well, we've got some snow across the viewing area.
Attorney General Wayne Stenjum is issuing a cease and desist order against a man accused of organizing charity fun runs, then skipping town and pocketing the money. He says Thomas Burke is violating charitable solicitation and consumer fraud laws. Burke organized Officers Down 5K races in North Dakota, supposedly to raise funds in support of law enforcement efforts. But Stenjum says Burke took advantage of communities known for their support of local law enforcement. He's also facing charges in Pennsylvania and Minnesota. President Trump was in Ohio today to discuss his new infrastructure plan. But all eyes were on Washington amid another shakeup inside his ever-changing cabinet. Reporter Lauren Blanchard is keeping up with the shuffle.
The president visiting Ohio today to tout his infrastructure plan, $200 billion in federal money in an effort to spark $1.5 trillion in spending.
We will breathe new life into your very rundown highways, railways, and waterways.
But first, the president took a moment to say goodbye to Hope Hicks as he left Washington. A long-serving aide, Hicks announced her resignation as White House communications director last month. Hicks not the only one to leave President Trump's side in recent days. The president firing Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin, nominating White House doctor Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson to take his place. Shulkin not taking his departure lightly and speaking with NPR News.
It's been a very difficult environment. It's been one where we've been distracted from our mission, and hopefully we have a chance now to get back on target.
Last week, President Trump dismissed National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, replacing him with former UN Ambassador John Bolton. His nomination met with scrutiny by many who have concerns over Bolton's views on Iran and North Korea. Bolton meeting with Defense Secretary Jim Mattis at the Pentagon.
As the Secretary said earlier this week, he looks forward to a very productive partnership.
All female U.S. senators, including North Dakota's Heidi Heitkamp, are leading a new charge against sexual harassment. They're taking up legislation to overhaul the sexual harassment complaint process on Capitol Hill. The bill would update the current 1995 law, streaming the process for reporting sexual harassment and providing new resources for staffers filing complaints. Back home, the Little Heart River that runs south of Mandan is equipped with a levee. It's meant to keep portions of town safe in case of ice jams or flooding. That levee was finished in 1949 and was certified by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in the 1980s. Now, FEMA changed their standards, which means the levee is in danger of losing its accreditation. Megan Hoffman is here to explain what that means for the community, potentially in harm's way.
While we're currently in a drought, flooding could happen at any time, which is why the levee is in place. However, if a flood happens and that levee isn't FEMA certified, it could mean a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars to the community.
Dennis Johnner lives just blocks away from the Heart River. It's been his home for over 30 years, and he's seen the river rise almost to the top of the levee in the past.
One time it jammed up pretty good, and then it was almost to the bottom of the bridge up here. And it was that way for about a week or so, and then it finally did break up.
But he says it's never flooded in his neighborhood and thinks the levee is doing its job. However, changes to FEMA's standards mean the levee no longer fits the organization's benchmark for certification because the channel is not wide enough to move an ice jam.
FEMA declares a 100-year flood event. With the levee in place and accreditation in place, it means those properties are protected and not required to get flood insurance.
If the certification is lost, Robinson says it could impact almost 2,000 structures and 4,000 people throughout South and downtown Mandan. But the price tag on the project is huge, almost $36 million. Robinson says the State Water Commission could help pay part of that, but they still need to find about $15 million somewhere else.
We're looking at several options. I would say assessments is probably going to be a part of it, or property assessments.
The funding piece needs to be figured out by October. Otherwise, people like Johnner could lose property value and be in need of flood insurance.
Robinson says engineering will hopefully start this summer and construction would begin in 2020.
Thanks, Megan. There have been a recent string of bomb threats at Legacy High School. Police say whoever is calling them in could face charges of terrorizing. Reporter Daniela Hurtado looked into what that charge actually means and found out that the definition encompasses quite a bit.
The Burleigh County Sheriff's Department says they had 53 terrorizing reports in 2017. 47 of those cases had warrants issued.
If the offense is such that people are in danger, we have a duty to take action to protect people's safety.
According to North Dakota Century Code, terrorizing is with intent to place another human being in fear for that human being's or another's safety.
Intent is a mind state where if I say I'm going to do something, I may not intend to do it, and I'm just saying that, but somebody else might truly believe that that's what my action is.
It's a broad statute that covers a lot of ground.
Covers a lot of different behavior. So we just have to look at it, see if we have probable cause and if we think we can get a conviction at trial.
He says charges are always decided on a case-to-case basis.
Bismarck officers say they discovered drugs and a stolen gun after a routine traffic stop. 30-year-old Scott Rao was pulled over early this morning for a traffic violation on 26th Street. They searched his car and found a loaded stolen handgun and marijuana. And a Belfield woman was killed in an early morning crash on Highway 85. The Highway Patrol says the 57-year-old was headed south in an SUV at about 5:40 this morning when she lost control on a patch of ice and slid into the path of an oncoming pickup truck. That driver, 24-year-old man from Dickinson, was treated and released from the hospital. There's a second candidate to replace Burleigh County Sheriff Pat Heiner. Nolan Canwright announced today that he's running. He says he worked for the Bismarck Police Department from 2003 to 2014. Since then, he's been a private investigator. Canwright says he'll campaign on building community partnerships, keeping schools safe, and fighting against domestic violence and drug use.
If I could merge what I've learned from leaders and my peers and supervisors in the private sector and bring that leadership into a government sector, it's going to be great.
Kelly Laban previously announced his candidacy. Sanford Health is moving their child therapy from hospitals in downtown Bismarck to a new building in the north end of town. The move will more than double the current treatment space. The new building's parking lot will allow parents to park closer and avoid crossing busy intersections. And staff say they will be able to do more for the kids.
More interactive sorts of things for them to be involved in, the possible expansion of some of the services and programs, new techniques, new things that we can bring to those families and their children.
For more information, you can visit our website, yournewsleader.com. Also around town, the First International Bank and Trust building under construction on State Street in Bismarck is almost finished. It's a full-service bank that includes a restaurant, a rooftop patio, and 3 stories of parking.
We certainly changed the skyline a little bit as you drive into Bismarck, and it's kind of our chance to remind everybody that we're here and we're committed to this community. We're excited for how that interaction will continue to grow.
A second building is also under construction on the site. In ag news, corn is being dethroned as the king of crops, and part of the coup de crop is happening here in North Dakota. According to the USDA report, farmers say they plan on planting more soybeans than corn for the first time in 35 years. They project farmers will plant 89 million acres in soybeans and 88 million acres in corn. The primary reason is profitability. Corn costs much more to plant because it's more susceptible to disease. Farmers bet on soybeans for a better return. Incredible video tonight of a tornado touching down in Louisiana. Severe weather sweeping across parts of the Southwest yesterday and today. This tornado is in Mangum, Louisiana. Luckily, there have been no reports of any injuries or damage associated with the tornado. And another tornado to tell you about, this time in Holiday Beach, Texas. You're looking at the damage left behind by the twister. Residents say they had just completed rebuilding efforts after Hurricane Harvey. Now they're back to square one. One person is dead and 3 others injured after a suspect opens fire at an apartment complex in Plano, Texas. The shots rang out early this morning. Police are still searching for the suspect responsible, but they say they believe this was an isolated incident. Hundreds of mourners gathered today for the funeral of 20-year-old Stephon Clark. Clark was killed by Sacramento police this week after they mistook his cell phone for a gun. His death is sparking protests nationwide against police brutality. Protesters want the officers to face charges for Clark's death. New details tonight in the case of Adnan Syed. A Maryland court just granted him a new trial. Syed, whose case gained fame on the podcast Serial, was accused of murdering his high school girlfriend. Today, the court ruled that Syed received ineffective assistance by his counsel during his 2000 trial. In international news, the U.S. consulate in Russia is closing its doors. The Kremlin announcing they're expelling over 100 Western diplomats. 60 of them are Americans. Russia says it's retaliation for the U.S. and its allies expelling Russian diplomats over the poisoning of a Russian double agent in London this month. In business news, Snapchat staff is disappearing. The company is laying off about 100 employees in its latest step to restructure the company after aggressive hiring over the last few years. This round of layoffs is focusing on the advertising teams and comes after Snap's decision to lay off about 120 engineers earlier this month. McDonald's in the UK is making some big changes. They're switching out plastic straws. Starting in May, they'll offer biodegradable paper straws. The plastic straws McDonald's offers are already 100% recyclable, but the company claims most customers just throw them out. On the health front, more than 23 million adults in the United States have diabetes. That's according to the latest tally from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. 20 million of those people suffer from type 2, which is linked to obesity. Blue Moon Beer is adding a little green. The company is expected to release 3 versions of a marijuana-infused beverage. It's supposed to give buyers intoxication without an alcohol headache. The drink contains no alcohol, just the marijuana. The company plans to have the beers in store this fall. And the winner of the Hunger Games is Buffalo Wild Wings. According to data from Foursquare, the chicken wing chain has the most loyal customers. That means returning regulars. Alcohol, specifically beer, seems to drive loyalty. Others in the top 10 include Applebee's, Denny's, IHOP, and Hooters. It was a busy day in outer space. NASA astronauts worked on installing new wireless antennas at the International Space Station. They also replaced cameras that weren't working correctly and removed jumper hoses from a leaky radiator. These astronauts will call the station home until they return to Earth in August. Summer is a long way away, especially with another round of snow. Take it away, Henry.
Yeah, that's coming down right now, especially across the Minot area.
Welcome back. School bathroom walls have long served as public message boards, and those messages are usually hurtful. But now, teachers at Wachter Middle School are changing the writings on the wall. Maddie Gelseth reports.
Both the girls' and boys' bathroom have motivational quotes on them, ranging from kindness changes everything to you can move the mountains. It gives students a positive message throughout the day.
It makes me feel good when I walk in there and I see something that's positive.
As I've seen it, it kind of gave me a boost of confidence throughout the day since I know the teachers put hard work into doing that, so it was nice to see it.
The teachers spent 8 hours painting all 5 stalls.
We wanted to do a little bit over the top. Because if you just left it a little bit, it doesn't have, I don't think it has the impact that it might have with an entire wall painted.
Wolf says the goal is to bring positivity and kindness to students' days and influence them to be kind.
I guess I spread the positive message around so people can stay happy throughout the day.
The assistant principal of the school says teachers at Wachter work hard to support their students, and they don't get paid enough for the work they do. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Maddie Gelseth.
A Virginia Chick-fil-A worker gets an unexpected visit from a child when he was on a, let's call it a break. Employee Andrew Hall was using the restroom when a 4-year-old appears under the stall door. He asks for help in washing his hands. Henry, he's going to need to wash his hands after touching that bathroom floor.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's take a look at our radar right now. We've had reports of thunder in Beulah. Also, as far as snowfall amounts, so far, Minot 2 inches. Looking at the chat, don't see any other new reports as far as snowfall. But yeah, 2 inches so far in Minot. Thunder in Beulah. Things are going to be active across the Bismarck-Mandan area over the next hour or so. But as we start out our Friday morning, it's already going to be snowing in Williston and northeastern Montana. The snow is only going to spread farther south and east throughout your Good Friday. Cold over the weekend and Easter. It looks like we've got another round of snow on Monday and below normal temperatures continuing.
All right, stay safe on those roads, and we'll see you tomorrow.